Welcome to Realtors Roulette. Join Nicole, Alicia, and John as they uncover untold stories, insider tips, and hidden truths about real estate. Get ready to enjoy this episode coming to you from the beautiful Qu'Appelle Valley in Saskatchewan.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our podcast, Real Estate Roulette with Authentic Realty. The topic today is pricing your home right, the key to a successful sale. This is where we'll break down the real estate tips and help you navigate the market.
Today we're tackling the big question for sellers. How do you price your home correctly?
So we're going to talk about pricing too high, which sometimes can scare buyers away, and pricing too low that might leave money on the table. So let's talk about finding the sweet spot.
First, we're going to talk about the dangers of overpricing your home. I know most sellers always want to overvalue their home because they have emotional attachment to it. They've done their renovations, they've invested their personal time and energy into decorating it, and they really, really love their home and they're proud of it.
And absolutely. And an overpriced home can sit on the market for too long, get stale. That's one of the things that you want to avoid at all costs.
So, and kind of the impact of price reductions is sometimes the buyers are like, okay, what's wrong with it? Like this is their third price reduction.
There's blood in the water.
Yeah,
Right,
like they didn't hit the market running with the correct price. So that's something to really think about. Like you really want to, that initial punch, you want to make sure that you're priced correct.
And a lot of times you'll end up with a seller that says, let's start off high. We can always go lower. We can't come up. It's one of those mythical things that should never be relied on.
So next we'll talk about pricing strategies that actually work. As a real estate agent, we can prepare a comparative market analysis or a CMA for you. And this is where we let you know what other homes in your neighborhood have sold for versus what they were listed for, and help you determine what you may be able to achieve for a sale price for your own home.
And when you do get a sweet spot in the pricing era, you can create an active bidding war. Should you be right there and the property shows well and you're creating the desirability?
So sometimes even pricing right where the market can bear or even slightly below isn't a bad idea. Like be super aggressive with your strategy, because even though we're in a market where there is low inventory, we still need to be pricing correctly. It doesn't mean, okay, there's only 4 homes for sale, so I can ask 50,000 more and I'm going to achieve it. That's not how it goes. Like at the end of the day, the lender is going to want to verify the value. And even if you get a offer 50,000 over, the lender can say, yeah, no, thanks. It's not worth that. I'm not lending on that. So there's a lot of different factors to consider when pricing it, but like we need to make sure that you're listening to our advice and looking to what has sold and not what's currently on the market. Because lots of times we have people say, oh, there's a listing price at X amount of dollars. And we're like, yeah, but it's been on the market for 3 months and it isn't a sold. So it's not something we even look at when we're pricing. We're looking at what has actively like made it a sold.
Yeah. So, and the role that market conditions can play in the home market is definitely something to consider. And your real estate agent can help you determine how supply and demand can affect your home's price.
And every year you see the difference between a seller's market versus a buyer's market. When it's a seller's market, inventory levels are low. When it's a buyer's market, ultimately, inventory levels are higher. Hence, price adjustments occur accordingly.
And timing matters. This has definitely changed over the last couple of years with COVID and just what we're experiencing right now, low inventory. Before, we used to say, oh yeah, maybe wait, don't list December, January, because it was crickets. Nothing was selling. Right. That's not the case now. There really isn't a right or a wrong time to list. It's basically, when are you ready? Because there is still very low inventory. So I couldn't say they're like spring, winter. There really isn't the perfect time to list. It's just when you're ready to move and kind of go from there.
Yeah. And we're really looking at appraisals and buyer's perception. So when we come to the home and we do the CMA for you guys, we want to price it very close to the value of your CMA. We don't want to see a giant spread between where your home is listed and where an offer comes in, and pricing it close to where your CMA comes into affects your negotiating. And we never like to see a big spread there.
And same thing, just, letting the sellers know that the buyers are looking at the exact same information that they see themselves. So when you have a buyer and you're working with buyers, we're looking at the exact same sales that you're looking at when you price your home. So they know in their own mind what's fairly priced and what isn't. So.
And we have lots of times too with an overpriced home, it can lead to lowball offers, but we also have a lot of people say, okay, I was listed at 280 and I've already came down 30,000. Well, no, you haven't came down 30,000. You didn't initially price it at 250 where your house should have been priced. So you're then thinking that you've made all these price reductions, but
right.
You've really your house is just now finally priced correctly. And now you've probably damaged the sale price of achieving that 250 because you said, no, I want to try higher. Like John said, we can do price reductions. Like that's kind of the biggest mistake you can make. Like you need to be listening to your agent.
Always tough to work through that for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it's just one of those things like, you haven't done any price reductions. You're just now priced properly, but now you're kind of behind the 8 ball because you went so far over what the initial list price should have been.
Overpricing your home is definitely a pitfall that we don't want to see you leading into. Potentially, if your home sits on the market longer, buyers will begin to wonder what's wrong with it and lowball you or give an offer that's much lower than your listing price because of the length of time on the market. There's always kind of a graph that we can use there. So just to recap, we just wanted to talk about the dangers of overpricing, the pricing strategies that we can help you determine as real estate agents, and what the role of the market conditions play in the sale, and go through how your home has to appraise out at the end of the day. You really do have to price your home properly or the bank's not going to lend the money on the home.
Right. And we encourage the sellers to work with an experienced realtor. Like we know the market, we live the market. We're there 7 days a week. We've seen the sales. So yeah, you're calling us for a valued opinion. So that's the big thing. We all host a pile of knowledge and
Yeah. So if you're thinking about selling, reach out to one of the Authentic Realty team members. You can reach us at 306-695-HOME. So we appreciate you guys listening today. And if you have any other questions, feel free to give one of us a phone call.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Authentic Realty's podcast. Follow, review, and share this episode to spread the knowledge. To connect with your favorite local realtors, call 306-695-HOME.